yonder on a rain night. Steep grade up ahead, slowing down and making no time. I gotta keep on rolling. Those windshield wipers slapping out the tempo, breaking from the rhythm with the song on the radio.
Instagram's stupid. Sorry, Instagram people. Yes, we are streaming to Instagram. It takes a minute to get that done too. This needs to be a new way. But welcome to the Rideshare Rodeo Roundtable. We have a good lineup tonight. We got Kim's Side Money Plans. What? Zach Drives Fast. We got Gig Work Mama. We got Dash Theory TV. And before we jump into anything tonight, is there any reason that this wouldn't work? Zach, maybe you should answer this. I want to start an app called a reverse coyote, where we get you back into Mexico because you've been sent to sanctuary cities like Chicago and you're sitting outside in -30 going, why the fuck did I come here?
How would I know about that? Why am I answering this?
I don't know, because you live up in. I'm like in a purple sanctuary city, and nobody here wants it. You live up in like sanctuary city land.
I plead the fifth, man. I don't know how that would play out.
I'm like, don't do it.
I laugh because I guess that joke was supposed to be that I laugh at the same time. There's nothing to laugh about. We all know this. I don't know if you guys have this isn't real or fake news. It's just news. It's real. But if you look, like, they're everywhere. I mean, in Chicago, they're in the police stations sleeping. They've shut down bus stations. They've got them sleeping on buses. I mean, it's I don't know if you guys know, it's like a complete nightmare. And that's where the DNC is going to be held too, if you don't know that. So they are getting some wicked feedback from the Black community in Chicago, who's giving up. They're like, what do you mean you've taken all our funding, given it to these other people who have been here 5 minutes?
Wow.
They're killing themselves. And that seems, everybody talks about New York, but I keep seeing Chicago, and it's been driving me nuts.
I got a lot of friends and family in Chicago, and they tell me the community notices. I'll leave it that way. The community notices. See,
and so that's not just me talking about news. John's talking about a direct family member, and if they're talking about it, it's happening bad. I know people in Chicago. It's a really a favorite city of mine. I've worked there many times. When I grew up in Michigan, I went there many times, and it's cold this time of year, man. In fact, I'll put it up with the lake effect. I'll put it up there with even the colder temperature cities, because it's cold.
I don't do cold very well, so I would not make it.
I mean, there's a reason I chose Arizona.
Yeah. If you ever go visit Chicago in the winter, you guys will notice that everybody wears wool thick trench coats that go down almost to their ankle, men and women, all of them. That's how cold it is, because that wind will bite through anything.
Yep. Nope. I'm good.
Yep. Nope. But sorry, Zach. I just thought, in that BC moment, that maybe you'd know about reverse coyotes. So I don't know. No, everybody, that's not code. Come on. Okay, it's time to get started here. Let me say hi to everybody who's in the chat. What's up, Thomas? How are you? Hey, Traveler. Hey, Gigan. What's up, Rick? Hey, what's up, Tom? Tom's working. I don't know what he's doing tonight. Maybe bartending. Oh, and then it's our friend Weed Dash. I don't know where. I haven't seen him. We haven't seen him in forever. And then, oh wow, yeah, it's funny because I saw both Weed Dash and Jerry. Jerry doesn't DoorDash. It used to be Jerry does DoorDash.
Does DoorDash.
Right now it doesn't, because he lives up in the UP of Michigan. So yeah, I've chatted.
Funny.
Yeah. So you haven't been around for a minute. Hey, what's up, Scrabble? How are you? And what's up, Chris Taylor? How are you? And what's up, Lurkers? How are you? I do know that it's kind of winding down right now, but Hannibal is live talking about the mayor. And we do need to applaud Hannibal's efforts, because I feel great that somebody that was doing this has found his voice. It's not in the gig economy. He's got 400 people live over there watching that right now.
Killing it.
Wow.
Killing it. I mean, and it's night and day. I mean, you know, I think all of us YouTube people, especially, even a lot of you people who are on here a lot watching, can appreciate that this guy took a channel that was gig related and flipped it completely. And that's tough to do.
Yeah.
That's
Once you
usually
branch
how
Very
it,
channels
tough.
die.
good luck getting out of it.
Yeah, that's usually how channels die, man. For him to transition like that and have that much success is incredible. Props to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to have more, like, he has 10 times more live viewers than he had when he was gig space stuff right now.
Yeah, exactly.
You get 40, 50 on a live. Well, now he's got 400, you know? So
Amazing.
kudos. I dropped over there. I said hi. Kudos to
Congratulations,
Hannibal.
Hannibal.
Happy for him. So, yeah, I see Carnifage saying Delivered is coming out with some interesting new features. Yeah, you know, who was it that was telling me today when I was doing a Pair Works live about Delivered? Was it Gigan? He's in here. I think it was Gigan, maybe not. Somebody was saying that they've been getting, it was Joe, Let's Play Doordash. He said he's been doing a lot of Delivered ever since we had the CEO on. So, you know, like he was like, I'm not getting anything. And then somehow he hadn't been accepted, but he got accepted. So it wasn't even like he was active. He got active right after that. And then he says, yeah, this has been great for me lately. So
That's good. It's good to know, because I know sometimes the people complain about Delivered, those who do it part-time. So it's good to see someone who does, you know, gig work part-time be successful in a catering app.
yeah, for sure. So you guys, tonight we got some here, let's see a couple chat comments. Okay. Sorry, just look at something. By the way, guys, last night Cheyenne was live, and then Zach and Kim did their new live. Wait, what is it called now again?
How we
How we
hustle.
How We Hustle. Because I just didn't want to get mixed up with the old name, because it's now on their channels. If you weren't there last night, it's on their channels. But this was me last night watching Cheyenne, Zach on his channel, and Kim. That's every device I have.
That's a goat move right there, Steve.
Seriously.
Can we see that again?
Yeah.
Highly appreciated.
That's awesome, man.
That's really
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. I mean, at some points too, guys, I don't even know how this worked, but so like you can see the computer on the left, and then I have the phone over here on the right. Cheyenne was over on the right. At some points, I like was pulling the volume down real low on both, but I had both on, and I was like, what am I doing? Otherwise, I was going back and forth because I was trying to listen to both. Like, you know what it is? It's that all week I've been dealing with this shit. This isn't shit, by the way. This is amazing. I'm putting this up there because I have an article that I can share with you guys too. It's up on ridesharerodeo.com. But this obviously has been fought on many levels, repeal AB5. But if you look at Senate member in California, Sanchez there, support independent contractors. And if you look behind her over the right, no, that's not the guy from The Matrix. That is Representative Kevin Kiley from California, who has been really, whether you like which side of the fence you sit on politically, that guy's been doing amazing things for us as independent contractors. Now, that said, I want to bring this up. So I'm glad Zach's here tonight because I feel like we proved something this summer. And I feel really good about it, actually. I think you guys did as well. It just feels good. And I know all the people watching, and if you're watching on the replay or whatever, you guys all remember, whether you watched it or not, and I think a lot of you did watch it, actually. But whether you watched it or not, the town hall this summer, that was the day after GigCon. And so there's a lot of people to thank here, too. It's not just Kim and Zach. It's Sergio. It's Pedro. It's Hannibal. It's Tony, the Driven Dad. I mean, like, it's these two, Cheyenne and John, even though they weren't here. I mean, it's like everybody that helped at all in promoting or helping us create buzz about that. Because I don't know if you guys know this or remember, but after the town hall, and it's not like there was a lot, but they were the normal trolling ones. They said things like, some people literally were trying to troll, and they were kind of impressed though too. Like, wow, you got a senator there and whatever. And yeah, you guys were making some points. Well, So there were a couple people who had that buzz of like, yeah, but what did it do? And and didn't understand, or do you want a union? And no, we don't want a union. We want some very clear legislation. That's what we were talking about, Stephanie's legislation. I think it had a ways to go. Senator Priola was completely against it, but I invited him, and he didn't even tell Stephanie he would show up. He just showed up. Nobody knew he was coming. That's very odd too, because she is a House of Rep member for seat 118 here in Colorado, Stephanie Vigil, and she should have known he was coming, but she didn't even know. In fact, she did not think the day of that he was going to come. Well, he came. He didn't want to talk. He just wanted to listen. And her bill had a couple things that he removed, but I almost maybe like this better, because I think it's better to come out small than to throw too much at the wall and find out there's a problem with this or this or this. But here's my point. So here's the thing, guys. So this is the new bill. I don't remember the old number. I don't have it right in front of me. I was trying to find it before we started, but
98.
The Rideshare Transparency and Deactivation Bill. It's Colorado SB 2475. I think the other one was SB 24, something close to that, but I'll pull them up so that maybe one of these days we can do like a side-by-side on what it was, but has been introduced. So this bill requires a rideshare company operating in the state of Colorado, obviously, to provide various disclosures to the company's drivers regarding payments that a consumer makes to the company and the amount that the company then pays the driver. So if you guys followed that, it means that if I am doing Uber, I can see my upfront pay, which is what it is now, and they can say, hey, $25 for this airport run. But now I get to see how much Uber charged. And I get to see any line items and stuff like that. What I don't see in here, before I move to the next thing, is one of the things that was taken out, Kim, Zach, I bet you guys remember this, was that the customers were going to be allowed to see that too. That's not in here. That bothers me. I mean, look, something's better than nothing, and anything that helps us is a win, but I really wanted the customers to see that breakdown.
It says rideshare. Is it going to extend to food delivery?
Well, that's why next week, Stephanie Vigil will be my guest I had a different guest on the podcast for Record Monday, Drop on Tuesday. And I actually asked them if I could move them a couple weeks, because I'm going to have Stephanie on, and we're going to go through her bill and how it transformed to this, where we are, and what exact differences is, because this is not the whole read here, guys. This is just kind of like their quick pitch. So I don't know. But again, I don't know. I don't think that Doordash is involved in this, but will they be quickly? Yes. But again, Kim, I got to say that I like that, because maybe the slow rollout is better. You know what I mean? It's like Seattle started this way. Seattle did rideshare first, because here's why. You can't mess with, you can't say anything about the TNC or the Taxi and Limousine Commission. You know what I mean? Like, rideshare really is under that standard. It should be. I mean, I did rideshare since 2015. Like, it should be under the TNC or the TLC. But what it is doing, though, it is demanding that we get to know deactivation reasons, and that there is a procedure that's free to take to fight any wrongful deactivation. But there's also some mechanism in place that allows it to, if everybody who is deactivated, and let's just say 50-50, let's say 50% were justly deactivated and probably know it, and if they're just fighting it to fight it, there's some mechanism in place that at some point puts them at, like, if they really want to push it, they can go on for free, but there's some penalty or something if you're just kind of trying to scam the system. But I didn't understand how it, again, I'll need to talk to Stephanie, but it's for the rideshare. And I know that the quick talking I did do to her, because Stephanie never did rideshare. She did before she was, for those of you that don't know, Stephanie Vigil, who's a House representative, did gig work here in Colorado Springs for like 3-4 years in the pandemic and beyond before she was elected. And she only did food delivery. And she was excited. She was excited though, but I think that it's in parts. So I don't
Okay, I
know.
was
We
gonna
don't.
say, I think that's why I'm confused because I'm like, huh, she was so like gung ho about, DoorDash and, food delivery, and
Well,
then for it just
I
to be
think the
Rideshare, that's why I
biggest
guess I'm
thing. I
surprised.
think the biggest thing that we need to note here, because we still haven't noted it, guys, and this is why I'm really proud of all of us. Because A, that wouldn't have happened, but B, she had a Democrat lead, or one Democrat senator supporting her original bill. She had two other people on it, but they didn't have enough clout to carry any weight. Well, we had Senator Priola in, who opposed the bill. Had he been on the team, that bill would have gone right through. So guess what? On this bill, not only is he involved, he's the lead.
Hmm.
So after the town hall, and after we all had our talks with him, and after he heard us speak, and after the communications after that we had, and things like that, he actually now, and this is what I'm saying is the biggest part of all this to me. Forget actually what's happening or whatever with the legislation. He was against all of it, but he didn't know. And that's what we've said. We've said a lot of these people just don't know. Well, here's proof, guys. Like, we literally flipped that guy. And I mean,
That's
I'm not
awesome.
trying to just pat us on the back. What I'm pointing out is it's an election year, and a lot of places, a lot of states are pushing legislation. We can start talking about 2 to 3, probably a week. And I was thinking a 15-minute segment starting next week, because this week's been all politics for me. But I already am like reading through some legislation. Some of it sucks, some of it's good, depends on the state. Some of it's odd, but people can make a difference. And I'll be honest, like at the town hall, yes, I wanted to make my voice heard. Yes, we knew we had a few connections, and then he showed up, and it really helped that Pedro had GigCon there, because that brought some more people that then were there. Just again, guys, if I didn't shout out your name, Dashing Trader, I mean, like, just there were too many here. Luis, David Pickerel, Gary Middleton. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And we did make a difference. Priola knows that we all had YouTube channels. I mean, he knew that some of us had big ones, and he knew that even the smaller ones had loud voices. Like, he knew this wasn't just go walking into 12 drivers who English is their second language, like some of these cities. He was like, wait, this is different than what I'm used to. So what I'm saying is, writing, calling, talking to them, and yes, you can talk to them. They will get into. I mean, sometimes it's their people, but they can speak for them. But it did make a difference. He didn't know what was going on, and he told us point blank. I will say this: he didn't support Stephanie's bill, and there were a couple reasons. I got to be honest. I cannot remember specifically why he didn't like a couple parts. But when he first came in, he told me that there was a couple parts that he couldn't get his head around. And so maybe those are some of the parts missing, but Stephanie's working with him on this.
That's amazing.
There
I mean,
were a lot
so
of
we're
things
talking
he just didn't-
bipartisan, cross the aisles, the kind of stuff that none of us feel like is happening going on in this country right now.
There were a lot of things he just didn't know or didn't understand that had to be, not to talk down to him or about him, but there's some things that drivers deal with where we have to explain it like children, right? We have to explain it like we're talking to a child because they don't understand. So, like, it was kind of like that when it was talking to him.
Yeah. This is weird. I know we're on Twitch. I mean, it's the first comment we've ever had on Twitch, I think. So somebody's actually asking a question from Twitch. Could a driver be deactivated due to poor reviews? Absolutely. Or does it have to be real bad? like accidents, delinquency on tickets, or outdated. I think they meant tags. I can tell you a funny story about that. And here in Colorado, I see temporary plates from 2020. I'm like, what? I didn't know we could do this. But yeah, I don't know. I think that was a big deal, guys. Oh, Holly Camp. Holly's in here. Holly was there. I mean, there were just so many people supporting. That whole event felt like something. But who'd have thought that the guy who literally, even though Zach, Kim, be honest, even though he heard you, he listened to you, did you really think that he would go do a 180-degree turn and say, wait, I'll get on board, but not only that, but say, I'll sponsor it?
No.
No, I got the impression though that he would look into it. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like that's what I got. Like, okay, well, I understand what you're saying. I hear what everybody's saying. I'll look into it. I can't make any promises, but you know what? I have a different perspective coming out of here today. At least that's what I felt I got out of it. So I'm just happy that he really listened to what we had to say. And that's actually pretty awesome. So I say hats off, because it takes a lot to come to an event on a Saturday and being a senator and, you know, listening to a whole bunch of gig workers, you know, talk about the problems and what we go through. So I can't be more happy about this and the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, remember, this guy lives in Brighton, Colorado, on the other side of the airport. He lived almost an hour each way. I don't know. To me, that it don't. I mean, sometimes these elected officials don't even show up for Senate, so it's like this guy's showing up on a Saturday to listen to us because I invited him like 3 times. Stephanie gave a little nudge. You know, like it just was. We were kind of not trying to bug him, but saying, "Listen, this is kind of a big deal for real. Like, you need to come talk to us."
Yeah. In this particular case, it worked, right, Steve? So hats off to you too for putting together the event. I mean, if you didn't put it together, we wouldn't be here right now talking about it. So give yourself
But yeah,
a
but
little bit of credit.
now more states. Now we need to deal with more, like as we start talking about these other legislations. Why can't we do this in more? We know people in other states, you know, who we could probably, especially in some states, who, if it gets heavy, we could nudge into, listen, you gotta get loud here. You got to do something. And I don't know what it'll be. It might not be the same thing we did, but you know, like if something happened in Houston, now obviously Dallas or Texas isn't probably on the chopping block first, but if it did, like in Houston, let's say, yeah, we got Tom down there, but yeah, we got Luis down there. He has a huge following. Huge Hispanic community too. So I mean, like they would need to listen to him.
He's just as big on Instagram and TikTok as he is on YouTube. Like, he has a very big voice, and he is the most personable person.
I was going to say his personality is pretty good too.
He's awesome.
So Thomas asked, did the senator drink? I have no idea. I doubt it. I doubt it. He was like, he was like in, if I remember right, he was in shorts.
He was. Yeah. He was in shorts and a polo.
He not like wearing like crap. He was like shorts and a collared shirt, and
yeah, he had on a polo with shorts and a polo.
He was dressed like the college kid that's like, you can't arrest me, my dad's a lawyer. Yeah, like, that's how this guy was dressed.
You just called Priola entitled. Sorry, Kevin. Kim, were you gonna talk about one of these articles so I can get on to the next one?
Yeah, mine was actually really quick. They decided, this is not a shocker. So you know how, obviously New York is now paying their drivers hourly wage. I think it's $29, I think an hour, $29.60, something like that. And then they raised the fees for delivery for the customers. So now customers are paying like astronomical fees. Well, big shocker, they're now also raising the commission percentage and fees for the restaurants as well to compensate the drivers. So I actually had it written down. I don't have it in front of me. I didn't realize I knew the commission was high, but I'm like, whoa, that's a pretty hefty commission they got going on. They were going to take 26%, I think, of every order that went through delivery. And I think it was like 8% on pickups. So, man, that's to me for a restaurant, that's steep because, the cost of food and everything like that, that's steep. Like, I know if I was a restaurant, I'd be like, I don't know if I'm going to be doing Doordash any longer. At least that would be me. But
that's not new. That's raising it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, those like crazy rates we charge you? They're twice.
It's going up again. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
We're treating you worse than the customers now.
Yeah, in this particular case, it was, let's raise it even more. So, if I hate to say, New York was one of the first ones to raise it, right? So now I'm assuming Seattle will be next for the merchants. Right? I feel like they kind of flew under the radar, right? So, but now they're not immune to the fees because they're just screwing everybody for the driver pay. Like, I feel like DoorDash, nothing is coming out of DoorDash's pocket, right? I think it's only coming out of the fees from the customers and now the fees for the restaurant, and they're probably still pocketing all the profits.
Of course they are.
Yeah,
of course.
And just to confirm, it's 23% on delivery.
23%. I was off by 3%.
That's the city's current limit. So imagine if the city put it higher, DoorDash would have been like, okay, let's go to the limit. Like they're.
But if I'm not mistaken, Steve, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, right? So I think it was 2 years ago is when New York City put a cap on the commissions of the restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I don't think that they would actually raise it. I feel like they were very adamant when they actually did the fees because they were already high enough as it was. Unless I completely messed that up.
You know what I don't?
High.
You know what I don't get
ridiculous.
is that everything in New York has failed gig-wise. Everything they've tried back to 2018 for legislation has failed. Rideshare failed. Rideshare second round failed again. Food delivery already failing at the 50 cents and 65-cent optimization at best, meaning $18 an hour. I mean, you guys just went from being able to hustle when you know how to hustle, like we all like to now making $18 an hour. Be happy. In New York. I don't even know what that does for you. Is that like subway fare?
Yeah.
Do you have to dash to take the subway home? I don't even know. Maybe you have a W-2 and you have to dash to get subway money to go home and get robbed on the subway.
But it seems to be working for some because I've seen Ceci and I was on a live where she's killing it with Grubhub.
Right, but if she only does Grubhub, I have we've all talked, none of us can do Grubhub only. We would be starving and homeless.
I had Grubhub on the other morning. I always keep Grubhub on in the background just in case I get like that one cowbell order. I turned it on at 9 o'clock in the morning and I didn't get even one cowbell when I turned it off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I went through that entire span without one order from Grubhub. Granted, I know you have to be on block, but it never used to be that way. Like you used to be able to toggle on and at least get an order here or there. Like you can't even do that anymore.
Can I tell a quick Grubhub story?
Go for it.
It's kind of, I'll water it down.
Why go? No, don't water it down.
All right. So we've all had that experience. We turn Grubhub on, we forget that it's on, and then the sound goes off hours later, right? So this happened to me when I was Netflix and chilling. So I had my then girlfriend, right? And, we were enjoying ourselves.
So
and then the freaking cowbell sound goes off. I'm like, what a way to ruin the moment, because now I got to leave.
Wait, did you have to leave or did she go, do you really work for Grubhub? Get the hell out.
Hey, you know what? Okay. If the order is paying $20 and it's only going 2 miles, okay, I'll be right back.
I'll be back.
I'm kidding. No, I was
you told me you were a lawyer. I know that's the Grubhub.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, I mean, that's like just when you shut off the app.
Client's notification.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't have walked out, like, hey, Grubhub can wait.
You're like, it is a good offer, though.
I know. I'm like, oh, I really want to look at my phone right now.
Mood killer.
You didn't mean that, guys. So
I'm really wondering, is it just her that's killing it in New York? Like, there must be some people that's also benefiting from this.
Well, I actually have person that I know in my area that is strictly Grubhub as well, and they kill it. Like they do like
Yeah.
$200 to $300 like per day, and then they only work from like say 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and they're Monday through Friday. They don't even work the weekends, and I'm like, how? Like how? And they're what's the highest tier for? I always forget what the highest tier for Grubhub is, but anyway, um yeah, and like they can get on any schedule, so they schedule the entire time, and I guess that's the way you make your money on Grubhub. But God, 2 years ago, I'm
I
like,
think it's because
okay,
those people are Grub hubbers. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
honestly, that might be one of the apps that's like, hey, Kim, Zach, or Cheyenne doesn't have it, but hey, Kim, Zach, you know what? You guys have taken 0 Grub hubs in 2 years, so we're just gonna give them all to Sassy. Screw you. Like, I'm not saying
yeah,
that's okay, and I'm not saying all the apps because they all have their little play points, but that wouldn't shock me because, like you said, and Sassy does good too. I think they've made it so that if they have a couple good people, because they don't have the volume, so if they can have people
yeah.
who can make it work, and they could probably have a good analysis if somebody's only using their app, because if they're taking an order and then there's 2-minute gap in another one, they're like, this person isn't multi-apping, they're using Grubhub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they probably get I mean, like Sessy's busy all the time.
All the time.
Well, the funny thing is, I think it was like 2 years ago, for video purposes, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to raise my acceptance rate and I'm going to try to become Premier Driver. That's what it's called. I'm like, I'm going to try to become a Premier Driver. I'm like, I'm a top dasher. I can do Grubhub. It lasted like a week because I'm like, this is like, you can't get on, like, if you're like the bottom tier, like you can't get onto a block. And then the blocks that they do send you, I mean, you can get on are usually like during like the middle of dinner time. Like it's hard to climb with Grubhub. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, it is. I was looking at where would it go? I was looking at a comment here that no, Chris Taylor, we like you sending us stories. Sometimes I just don't.
Oh no.
Yeah, don't stop sending us stories. Love that. So every once in a while, you send me one I haven't even seen yet, if not read, but I haven't even
I
seen. Maybe,
respond
so.
to you, Christopher Taylor.
Yeah, I mean,
Might not be every day, but
regardless,
I
public shout out to Christopher Taylor. He sometimes sends us great information or an article or a rabbit hole to dive down. Speaking
And
of,
horrible responses.
this week has been extremely political for me, and it ends tomorrow, so it's not even over yet. But I've had
It sounded fucking ominous. It ends tomorrow.
I've had other conversations outside of these two, but on Monday I did an hour 15 live with Mike Harubi about New Jobs America and Be Your Own Boss legislation, and where it's at. On Tuesday, we had the Pacific Legal Foundation and Kim Cavan with her lawsuit. And in a minute, I'll drop it in the chat. You guys, if you want to read her 17-page lawsuit suing the Department of Labor, it's very interesting. It's a simple read. It's 17 pages written by Kim. It's based on the 330-page DOL rule change. So she's simplified it into 17 pages and telling them why this needs to go. And it's very well done. And the Pacific Legal Foundation was there too. And they explained a lot. And even as it relates to AppWorks, if you guys didn't catch it, I would say go back and watch it. And then tomorrow I have John Lopez in Chicago, who John is a political wizard. Like when Kim Cavan is my guest, I don't know if you guys have been in the live. I know some of you have for some of these, but when John is he's fact checking Kim, and he's like, and she's always right, but he's like, or Kim or Karen, and he's always like, yep, she's right on. And here, what about this case? Does this case relate? Like, he is wicked intelligent. And I've only had him, he came on a Sunday Fun Day once for like 20 minutes. And that was it. And otherwise, it's been all comments through chats, and I see him on Twitter a lot, and we chat that way. But it's just going to be John and I for a candid conversation. I'm not going to reveal it yet because it is an audio podcast, but where we'll be StreamYard recording it. And if it's not going to get me in trouble on YouTube, I will post it here because we have a couple topics on there that I'm not sure how it'll fly with YouTube. But if not, I'll at least post, here's the audio podcast. You guys can go listen to it. But on top of that, this is something that happened today, and whenever it makes Politico, it scares me a little bit, especially this time of year. So Uber, the ride-hailing and delivery giant that launched in San Francisco, is prepping a massive cash infusion to shake up politics in California. This is pretty scary, you guys. According to plans revealed first to Politico, the company is dropping $30 million into its existing state committee called the Uber Innovation PAC, all of which it plans to spend on candidates and causes in 2024. So they've created, Uber now has a super PAC in California to direct who they want in charge.
Talk about.
I mean, this is really scary stuff, and this is that kind of stuff where, I mean, we used to talk about this kind of stuff with like cigarette companies and those kind of like the influence those companies had. Now we're in a generation of apps and things and technology, and here we go. You know, it's like the next cigarette. Uber's gonna. I mean, to be able to put that, that's a lot of money, you guys. I know that sometimes you think, well, to Uber, it's a lot of money. I mean, when they passed Prop 22. All the companies together had put in like just over 200 million to make Prop 22 happen. They're already dropping and that's not even necessarily the limit. They're putting 30 million into the Uber Innovation PAC. Innovation. I think it's bad enough they put their own name on it, but you know, like the Uber Innovation PAC, like innovate what? You're not a tech company, you're a dispatch company. But so it says that will make it that will make it because it was edited here. That will make it the largest single funded state PAC this election cycle in California. Uber has the most money in politics in California right now.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Crazy.
But then there's things like this. Check this out. So they're like one of the things they're already doing. Uber's rollout includes a $250,000 check to support Proposition 1 on the March ballot. What is Proposition 1? Proposition 1 is Governor Gavin Newsom's baby, to revamp and fund the state's mental health system. Uber wants nothing to do with that, has nothing to do with them, but that's his baby. So they're going to make it happen for him. Why do they do that?
Talk about pulling the purse strings.
I mean, this is so in the open, because why would Uber give to that? I mean, we all would give to that if we had the money to, but we know Uber wouldn't. They wouldn't give to the California state fund for mental health. No, not a chance.
One hand basket. What is that? What is the saying? Oh my God, I forgot what the saying is. Never mind.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, that too.
One hand. Yeah, I know what you're trying.
Oh my God, I can't think of the saying. How horrible is that?
But so like, I mean, that's just one example. So that's 250. That's $250,000. They're just given to a proposition they have nothing involved with. So this isn't even stuff for them. This is to show you this whole article. And I'll put, you know what, when we're done, I'll go and I'll put some articles in, whether we cover or not tonight, because this has been a crazy week for articles. And if you guys are like, I don't like reading articles, I mean, some of them aren't that long and stuff, but this was a week you should watch. Thank you,
Brenda. Got it. Brenda did it. One hand washes the other. That's what I was trying to say.
Right. Well, in this case, one hand steals all the money from everybody, puts everybody out of business. Because I want to show you guys something else here too. Check this out. You guys ready? So, oh wait, I didn't do it in order. My bad. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? There she can run, but she can't hide. So don't look at my retweet on the top yet. Look at what Acting Secretary Sue said yesterday. The Biden-Harris administration is going to keep saying loud and clear, unions make America stronger. Okay, Acting Secretary is not a she's paying for that certified label. That's not a government tweet certified label. She's paying for that on her own to make her look like she's something of, because now you can buy them on YouTube. We all know this, or on Twitter. But she's trying to make, because acting is nothing. She is nothing. So of course I said, who gave this crazy person the keys? You know, so but she's talking about unions. Let's talk about unions. So that lower line, the light blue, is US unions. So if we go back to 40 years to 1983, 20% of of people working in the United States were in unions. 40 years later, 10% of the working people are in unions, and we have way more working people. Now, look at New York. I can't exactly see what that is, but I'll call it 32. I'll be nice. I think it's 32, 33, but we'll say 32. So 1983, 32% of people in New York are in unions. Now 20. And I don't know if anybody else is directionally challenged, like Acting Secretary Sue, but this is going down on both. Right? Am I wrong?
Can she? I don't know Twitter that well. Can she see what you tweeted?
Oh, yeah.
Did she respond?
No, usually they just block us.
This guy's being a dick again.
No, I mean, like, you know, like I'm blocked. Like I was having like everybody that Kim Cavan, all these people on Twitter. That's why, because news travels real quick on Twitter. So I'm going to give one example. They're all blocked by Lorena Gonzalez, who worked to create AB5 and now is a union shill and is being paid tons of money. They're blocked by Lorena Gonzalez. And I was like, that's weird. I'm not blocked by her because I went to her Twitter page and I was like, I've definitely tweeted stuff about her. The next day I was blocked, I guess by like who I hang with, because I was tagged in some Kim Cavan tweets. And all of a sudden I'm like, shit, I'm blocked. And so I took my screenshot and I'm like, I got my badge of honor, you guys.
Just guilty by association.
Yeah. So I don't know where a couple of my slides went here, but so the other thing I wanted to show you guys was California. Okay, guys, this is crazy. California from 2015 to 2019 versus 2020 to end of 2023. That's the two time periods we're going to compare. 54% jobs down. 54% jobs down. The red cities are, and I have my glasses on. Kim, can you see that?
No, I don't have my
Off
glasses on.
60,000
I'm just
plus.
as blind as you are.
Okay, so yeah, so it's off 60,000, so they're down 60,000, and where those are Silicon Valley, San Francisco, 2 LA areas, and then 1 inland. And then all of those are down though. Nothing. The only ones that are up are the green ones. And if you look, so it's like Redmond, Sacramento. I don't know what those lower 2 green ones are, and I don't know what that other green one is, but those are the only ones that either no change or up. Everywhere else, they're like not down. I mean, a lot of other states are up even pretty well. California in this comparison is done. They're down. They're off. And I just find it amazing. This is now using post-pandemic information to make these. And look at this. I mean, this is a state that the independent contractor rule change that the Biden administration's pushing is being based on. Okay, well, they didn't create any jobs. They promised them in 2020. And this is now the proof. We've joked about it for a long time, but they didn't create any. They just killed millions of careers, created no jobs at all. So, John, while you were gone, and I'll put the link up too for you as well, that there's a political story or Politico. Oh, actually, I sent it in a text to you that you might want to read, because like Uber's now in the political game in California. Like they've got a super PAC going.
Arizona's next, probably right next door.
Yep. So, quick note too here, guys, on ParaWorks or on ParaPass, this is only going to apply to some of you, but if you have any caregiver experience and you've ever heard of Hop Skip Drive, we can get you again, anything ParaPass skips the line. So you won't have to, there's waiting lists in every city for Hop Skip Drive that they're in. If you are interested and want to do it, and you're 23 years old and you have a 4-door vehicle, 2014 or newer, and you have some caregiving experience, I don't know exactly what that would look like. I mean, even probably taking care of a family member or something like that would be good enough. You can make $50 a ride, set your own hours, all that kind of stuff.
Does being a mom count? No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Why not?
I would think it would.
I mean, that's a caregiver, right? You
I mean,
could
if
have
you're
left
giving
her on the
kids
road.
a ride to and from school. I mean, that's like the
I mean,
ultimate experience being a parent,
4
right?
years old. I mean, that should count.
Is she alive? Well, then you did a good job. So yeah, that's caregiving.
Good enough.
She's breathing. We're good.
But yeah, it's just been a crazy week of the politics stuff. And as far as gig work goes, I feel very blessed that I use off-brand apps. Let me put it that way. I do, because even Curry has built up so much over the years that this is normally when I'm out snowboarding a ton. And January, February, I'm when I am here, there's not much Curry, so I would be using other apps, but there's been a lot of Curry, just not paint. So it's been really good for me in that way. And using Paraworks and just, more of the arsenal than the traditional, the staple ones, because I don't know. I talk to people around the country for para purposes, but also for my podcast purposes all the time. Gig workers in every state. And it's like we've said before, it's usually like, well, these markets are off, it's summertime. These are on. And, Jason Thierry, the Gig Economy podcast, he lives on the upper part of the Mitten in Michigan. Well, this time of year, it's like snow to your waist and it's freezing. But in the summer, that's Lake Michigan. It's beautiful. And a lot of people go up to their summer homes and things like that. And so that gets raging up there for them. So the summer slowdown is not a thing. Like that could be summer speed up for some.
That's me.
But right now across the board, I don't know anybody who's not feeling a major hit.
Honestly,
And I saw Kim's video today too about DoorDash deactivations. And, we've been talking about that forever, but this was earned by time related. And I was kind of, it's intriguing, but at the same time, like, I don't get it, because earned by time should be there. I think that DoorDash loves earned by time.
they do love by earned time by time. They don't like that dashers are abusing earned by time, and that's
Exactly.
where the big thing is, and they're cracking down because you have dashers who are abusing the systems and they're not closing out the orders until they get back to their area, or they already have the food but they stay in their car for 10 to 15 minutes longer, so customers' food is getting cold. I mean, if you don't close out your order until you get back to your area, it could be 15 minutes before that customer gets a notification that their order was closed out. So there are drivers that are abusing the systems. But the thing is a lot of we all know deactivations on DoorDash, a lot of it is AI generated. So there might be a lot of innocent drivers that might be getting crossed in like the crossfire of the bad apples of DoorDash. And that's kind of where some of the mass deactivations are coming from lately on the DoorDash platform. So
I mean, Zach, let's hear from everybody, John, everybody. Like, I mean, let's all talk our markets, because that's people want to hear this stuff, I mean, we all, like we've said, like, was it Gig Geezer that time when he was on, he challenged us, do we glorify gig work? No, I think that I've always been straight, but it was good to hear that too. I liked that. So it's made me extra aware. So now in these bad times or slower times, and I got to say redefining times too, because again, guys, we can start diving into maybe, like I said, I don't want to take away from other things we might be talking about, but maybe dedicate like 15 minutes a week to hitting one or two cities to talk about a little legislation and give you guys some links in case you live in those cities and some guidance and whatnot, because some of it is just there to super tear up. Like one of the things that I know in a couple states is the cap on drivers. So Kim, I was putting pieces together when I saw your video today, because I saw, well, they're mass deactivations. I'm like, they always do that though. Okay. But then you have this new thing, and I'm thinking to myself, Curry does, if you don't take a Curry for 90 days, you're deactivated. All you have to do is email reactivation@curry.com when you open the app and it says you're deactivated, and they'll have you reactivated that day, the same day.
Wow.
They just don't want to send you data if you're not taking it. I'm wondering if a new ploy here is now like, you know what? If they haven't dashed in 2 months, deactivate them. Kind of the same way as Curry, only they won't reactivate you.
I just think DoorDash knows And I think I said this in my video. They know what markets are oversaturated. They're a tech company. They have all
But
this
they
data.
need to, but they've loved that till now. What I'm saying is there's legislation that's absolutely going to force the hand on capping.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
I've
Yeah.
already read some of it. I mean, and I think it'll pass in some of these states. So, I mean, to be honest, like if they like to have 5,000 drivers on and 3,000 or like 2,000 are needed, the city now might say you can have 2,500. They're going to hate that. Dashers will love it. Half of them. The other half won't be able to get on. Or they'll be deactivated. So I guess my question is it better just to be deactivated if you're not ever going to get on? Because in New York, they've like that bottom 20% can't get blocks and can't find times and isn't getting
Yeah.
orders.
For
I
me,
mean, they're already
no.
being pushed out. So I mean, like, why not? I'm not trying to, be evil about it, but I'm just saying, like, why in a DoorDash mind they are evil. So why wouldn't they just start mass deactivations? Because they're going to need to anyway, and they know this. They know that they've been screwing around with these governments for years, and it's time. Like this is the year where they're going to be forced with their hand, and if not, they're going to pay a lot of fines, and that's not what they want either. So I mean, I don't know. The caps alone, to me, I've always, it's like waiting lists on apps. I'd rather be on a wait list than be put onto an app where there's no work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Just leave me on the wait list. Once the market's rolling, I'm around. Then hit me up and let me know, hey, we're popping or we're getting rolling. There's not a ton, but you'll see some offers and I'll get on it. But I don't want to be on it if you got nothing.
It's kind of like the same thing with DoorDash when the screen is gray and you can't dash now. Sometimes I'm like, I kind of rather that I can't dash now, because if I could dash but nothing's coming in or it's just trash, I don't want to be on there.
Yeah, well, as we learned last week, Canada only does, if Tom was right, Canada only does 1% of their business is DoorDash.
It's horrible.
I'm not kidding. It was 1%, wasn't it?
It was really low. So they didn't even mention DoorDash when they did the split. They mentioned
crazy.
Skip, Uber, and Domino's. Like Domino's came above DoorDash.
Like you
And
guys
then,
like
but
a
then
lot
when we
of
were
Domino's.
asking Cheyenne, it kind of did fit the mold because I was like, just anybody what do they use? Uber Eats.
Uber. Yeah.
And then she's got that skip the dishes that she likes. So I mean that
love
works
Skip.
for her, but I mean, like if people don't use it up there. So I mean, again, yeah, clearly like the US is a DoorDash market.
Yeah.
The US is a DoorDash market and it's a Lyft market. And those two don't get out of these borders. I mean, I know that what is it, Just Eats or Takeaway or whatever has their deal with DoorDash and but nonetheless, DoorDash itself as a branded name is only here. So, I mean, where it is in Canada, it's just, to me, it sounds like it's failing.
Yeah.
Which is
it's really
surprising.
It's really not popular. And then I was also looking at the stats because there was this video that I was planning to do. And I was looking to see how many DoorDash drivers there are versus the fact that we don't even have a lot of the market with DoorDash. And I think it's something like there's like 250,000 or something drivers. And I'm like, for what? Like there's no orders. Like maybe this is why there aren't many orders, because there are way too many drivers. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
When you say 250,000, is that dashers across all of Canada, or is that like in your
Yes.
province specifically?
No, all of Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, not a lot.
Yeah, but what is the population of Canada versus US too, though?
Yeah, that's the thing, right?
That's probably a huge difference.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you have a lot of territories, right, that are completely spread out, and like you have to drive like miles upon miles upon miles to get to things.
Yeah, Canada is
like
very
ice road
spread out.
truckers.
I know that's what I kind of think of when I think of Canada.
Like if those were like, we gotta get this McDonald's up to Moosehead Bay.
Yeah, it's not happening. So we have 38.25 million, and this is 2021 stats. And in 2021, you guys had 331.9 million. So 38 versus 331.
Right. So you're 10% of our population.
Yeah.
And
your population
that number's
is
incorrect because
York
10
City.
million have come over the border illegally. John, what's your market like right now? I know you got your other thing going too, and to everybody that has another thing going too, great. All more power to you. Especially if you're able to do your hand in
It's
many cookie jars.
a lot of juggling. But right now, the market I would say it's very dependent on the peak times and days of the week. Like if it's on a Friday, Monday, weekends, good. Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's not, it's not over the hill, but it's pretty decent, pretty consistent. On the other side of the coin, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, especially, dead as a doornail.
I mean,
Yeah.
so on those nights you can make what you used to,
I mean,
or on
used
those
to.
on the good days, or
I mean, I can make 25, 30. I make pretty much. I would say that's like the standard. Like in my market, it never gets too high, never gets too low. Let me phrase that. It gets low on Wednesdays. It gets very low on Wednesday, but it never gets too high.
okay. So you're kind of thinking like 25, $30 is kind of that maxing out zone. Anything beyond that would be like
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So that's
Okay.
why, like my market, I can get if I get like, for example, if I'm getting when Walmart Sparks is doing well, I'm getting $25 to $30 Walmart Spark orders, and then those like the round robins, and in between that, doing maybe another $5 or $10 Doordash. So I can average 30 like that. But if it's no orders are coming on either platform, then yeah.
Yeah. So, but not much is. I mean, in your market, not much has changed. I mean, Denver's a good market
I would
too.
say it's changes, and before it used to be every day of the week you could do that. Now I would say it's just those
Okay.
dead days, like Tuesday, Wednesday, not even worth going out. I've
And
changed my
then
day off to Tuesday.
and Cheyenne, like I mean, maybe you don't face the same challenges we do, so maybe not much has changed for you for a January at least. I don't know. Has
I
it,
actually
or?
haven't been out this month.
Oh, that's right. I saw that on your live last night.
I have
But I mean, I'm
not
sure
been
you
out
turn
this
on the app and you look.
I do.
I'm sure you've looked. So I mean, like you've got a
I
read
do.
on it. You probably have friends that do it too. So I mean, like, are you
January
being majorly affected?
So here's the thing. January is usually a pretty quiet month. And the thing that isn't helping is that the weather is not like normal. So usually whenever there's like a snowstorm or something, you can go out and make some good money. We just had like an ice storm today, and we're supposed to be continuing that for the next couple of days. But there hasn't been a crazy snowstorm that would make you say like, oh my gosh, let me go out and make some money. So it's just regular. And at just regular, nobody's ordering because they're like, ooh, it's actually nice. Let me go out. And this is the thing with Canadians too. Like they like to go out. In the summertime, it's bad because they like to sit like on the terrace and all that kind of stuff. But in the wintertime, they still like to go out to the restaurant. They like to sit down and be served versus having delivery at home.
Yeah.
So January it's not it right now. And with the weather not being winter-like, no.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not missing anything because we went to a track meet for my son last weekend, and it was an away track meet. And when we were in the restaurant ordering something, an Uber came in, and I was like, oh my God, that's true. There has to be Uber over here, even though it's like super far from my house. So I turned it on as we're like getting to the hotel because I want to see like what kind of orders are coming in. And I was like, this is horrible. It was like $8 for 17 kilometers. And like, you're in the middle of nowhere. Granted, it's like a little city, but it's Sherbrooke. Like there's nothing out there. It's all hotels and like restaurants on one strip. And like orders were coming in, and I was like, oh my goodness, how does anybody in this market make any money? It doesn't make any sense. No.
We always ask you about your tipping culture. And I told you last night in your live, I was like, I found this weird article. I'm reading some of the comments from some of the people. These are customers and how they tip delivery drivers in Canada. Like one of them says, here's his math. If it's less than a 5-minute drive, I'd tip $1.11. A 10-minute drive, $2. But if it's like 15 minutes, then maybe $3 or $4.
What?
Getting real generous there, isn't it?
I know, right?
It's also kind of
Working out
mathy,
those
isn't
purse
it?
strings
Like,
right there.
What was with the $1.11? That's kind of weird.
I don't
Like
know.
I was like,
11
okay, is
cents
it
just
maybe
randomly
like a dollar
around.
with tax? But then that would be $1.15. So I'm like, where's the 111?
Right. And then so one Canadian said that he only tips if the weather's shitty.
Wow.
Screw him. He can go get it his damn self.
That's very nice of him. Very, very nice.
This is my favorite one. One person said they only tip if the food actually gets delivered.
Wow. They've had some very bad experiences, it seems like.
I mean, how sad is that somebody has to make that comment? That means
That's
like not
actually really
once or
bad.
twice, but like 10 times their food doesn't show up.
I don't
That's
know.
actually really
There's
bad.
a lot of people that make claims like that. I had somebody in my comments say that 50% of the time that they order, it doesn't show up. Like, bullshit.
Wow. Do they have a
I'd say I
tally?
call BS on that one.
What's that?
Well, but this person might live in the in the tundra, maybe, and then people pick it up and they're like, "Yeah, I ain't going there."
True.
I got
That is
mauled by a
true.
bear last time I was there. You know.
You never know. You never know.
There was one person who said people shouldn't be obligated to tip on these apps. However, I tip on Uber Eats, but not DoorDash.
What? How crazy is that? Like, one is different than
Canadians are weird.
Yeah.
Well, she can say the same thing about United States people are really weird.
I 100% agree. I just thought those are weird answers. Okay, so I don't know. And then we won't dive into it too far, you guys, but real quick, I sent this to Kim and Zach too. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look it over, but I just think it's weird because New York has actually formed Department of Sustainable Deliveries.
What is
I just think that's so weird, you guys. And you get into this stuff and it's not real. I mean, at first read, it's like permitting and licensing for Uber, DoorDash, FedEx, and that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, that needs to happen. But with the shape that New York's in right now as it is, to create a Department of Sustainable Delivery, I don't even know what the hell that means.
And I was just gonna say, what does that really mean?
Seems like a
though?
made up thing. To me, that's just a made up.
Well, I mean,
title,
but it's not. New York
Oh,
City
I know it's
Mayor
not.
Adams announced it and created it. So it's a job, and their job is to centralize the regulation of app dispatch delivery. So they're going to be involved in the regulation already, as well as the vehicles that make those operations possible. My whole hope is that if you're going to do something like this, which I already don't like, you better damn well be making sure that people are not illegal on these apps.
Yeah, like what?
Because if
what's
that's
the
not even on
mandate?
your checklist, then I'm pissed.
That's
I don't
weird.
know.
That's
But
really weird.
before we get out of here, Zach, I need to know how your market is.
It's okay. It's honestly, since not this last New Year's, like December 31st, but the year previous, things have just been slowing down. You can still do okay. You can make $100-$200 in a day if you're out there for 10 hours. But I haven't been bothering on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. I've been going out for a couple of hours during lunch, and then going home, and then going back out for dinner. It's just not worth it in between, in my opinion. So I'm just trying to really kind of optimize my time.
Do you guys ever like just pull up the apps and make like not do the order, but just pull it up and see?
All the time.
I've been doing it more lately, like just pulling them out as the customer side and just putting it in. Like, okay, what would this cost?
Yeah. I do it sometimes.
It's been good. It's like my son and I don't use them, but like they're going up here in Colorado big. Like what it would cost me, and they're doing it very like in weird ways. Like you can't. It's almost like they're like I can tell where if you use these a lot, you'd notice, but not like I do, because I don't use them. So when I go in there and check, I notice something huge and different.
I use Uber. So this is one thing that I always tell drivers, because you know how Uber has like those discounts that they give you depending on what level that you have and whatever. So I usually tell people if they're ordering, let's say from a restaurant, to compare the price of ordering directly at the restaurant versus ordering on Uber with your discount. Now, granted, I know the restaurant is going to get a fee, but in this day and age, when everyone's looking at their pockets, it could be a pretty good difference. So there's this one restaurant that we tend to order from a few times a month, maybe like 2 or 3. And we always order through Uber because with my discount, it's about $8 less than if I ordered directly from the restaurant.
Yeah. I saw a customer comment on Twitter that said, you know, I don't, it was weird too, because I don't normally comment on something like this, but I saw it and I was like, it said, I am not using DoorDash anymore because it costs too much for me to go pick up my food. And I was like, what the hell? I've always wondered where these people are who pick it up. Like,
Yeah.
they exist.
So,
And so when
yeah.
I actually commented to him and he commented back, and I said, I don't know if I've ever I know I've never met somebody where I know that they do this. I said, I'm just surprised. Why don't you just go in and pick it up? Because you're definitely wasting money. And his answer was kind of, it was different because he said, I have anxiety issues.
But that has nothing to do with ordering.
Well, I
directly
think
on
that
the
it was
restaurant.
that he can do it through an app and not have to go in and talk to people. And
No, but maybe it's a restaurant where he can't order online directly through the restaurant's website.
yeah,
That could be.
right. But I mean, I just found that to be interesting because I wonder how many, like, is it introvert or extrovert? Which
Introvert that doesn't like talking to
right.
people.
So I mean,
Yeah.
like, maybe that's the people who use that. I don't know. Maybe there are
I
more
would
people that I
never-
think that use it. I was always like, nobody uses that.
I would
So-
never order on the app to pick up in the restaurant unless I have a discount. It doesn't make any sense.
Holly, what? Holly does.
What? Why? Do you have a discount? Because I know sometimes DoorDash does.
Why are you supporting DoorDash, Holly?
God,
Damn it.
Holly, that's gonna-
And you're a delivery driver. Damn it.
Usually when you're out delivering.
Still, whether you
But
pick
just
it,
order
whether you
through
do
the
DoorDash
restaurant.
or Uber Eats and you go to pick it up, they still raise their prices on every single item
Wait.
because they still are paying a commission still on pickup. So it's still more expensive.
Usually when I'm out delivering and eating in my when you're waiting for orders, you're ordering food to your car?
No, she said pickup.
Oh, yeah, pick up. That makes sense then, but okay. But again, why would you use DoorDash? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. There's no way you're saving money.
Yeah, it's easy. Okay, so I get it. It's easy to compare the restaurants, but then once you choose a restaurant, just go to the restaurant's website and place the order.
Or
Unless
just
you
call
have a
ahead of
discount with
time. If you
DoorDash.
know, I'm making this up. If you know you're going to a sushi place and you have a 5-minute ride to a sushi place, just say, hey, can I have a tuna roll and a California roll to go, and just go pick it up the same time you're picking up an order, if that's what you're doing.
Wait. And this is just, I just got to ask, because I know a lot of people don't use it anymore, but I'm sure there's other tools like this. Don't you have Yelp? You can see the menu. You can
Yes.
call the restaurant right from Yelp and order it yourself.
True.
Don't give them your business, Holly. Jesus. We're in a war here. You're like giving them
It is.
missiles.
It is definitely more trouble. Yes.
I work for you and I order food through you. Don't do that. It makes it look like the model works.
That's like people that say that they place their order on Uber and they try to get their own order, like as a driver. You're actually not supposed to do that, but yeah. I've
Yeah,
seen
that'd be like me
Facebook posts
calling a
about that.
rideshare and saying that
You
like
picked up
when he gets
yourself?
here, just saying, yeah, it's to the airport. And then just stand there and he's like, what? And be like, go. I'm gonna watch you on the app to make sure you do it though.
Oh man.
I don't know. You can't use it anymore, Holly. Come on. Delete that thing. But thank you guys for joining. Next week I will be out of my political mindset because I've had to really kind of engulf all of this and not be in any other mindset at all. And after tomorrow, I'm going to feel like I'm breaking those barriers down a bit. So, but yeah, thank you, Zach, for joining. Thank you, Gig Work Mama. Thank you, Kim Side Money Plans. And you guys, the 15th of February is the 2-year anniversary.
Yay.
So, yeah. So make sure to be here for that, and we will see you back
Thanks,
here next
John.
week.
I
Thank
know
you,
had
everybody, for
computer
joining.
issues.
Be safe, earn smart, and be awesome to people. Don't be a dick. Peace.